the wider, sort of the outer wheel, the Mazzaroth, or the constellations, I believe that that outer wheel is aligned to the inner wheel, which was aligned to the innermost wheel. And so the innermost wheel, there are ambassadors of the ages of man that are responsible for man maturing and outworking that maturity in a way. So there's these different things that come together. And I don't really want to wait 2,400 years for every cycle of the constellations to change. So we go from, where we are, Aries, into, Aquarius or whatever. And for some, I believe that when you begin to bring about the alignment with the chancellor's houses, the government of God begins to release even into our present scenario that which is the future, if you like. So we can have that which is coming now in forerunning experiences. So there will be some who will be experiencing the water outpouring of living water now, not waiting necessarily for the age of Aquarius. Where are we in the transition between Aries and Aquarius? Or we went from Pisces to Aries. I mean, all these, or Pisces to Aquarius, or Aries to Pisces. I mean, it's all a bit, to be honest, something that I'm not that concerned about, but I believe I can have everything I need to have when I'm aligned to God's purposes in my own life. And when on a bigger scale, we begin to align to God's purpose for global things. So do I have to wait 2,000 years for the actual physical rotation of the heavens, or can I have what that represents when it's needed, because things are aligned? And I think that's how it works. It's almost like when you sort of see a watch or a clock, an old style watch or clock, and you get the cogs going around, and then they turn other cogs and they turn other cogs. And it feels like that's what the wheels within the wheels within the wheels do. Everything that moves aligns and brings about change and transition. Now, I've much more experience, I get, outworking that in my own life and seeing how those cycles have effectively outworked in my own life. Larger scale, certainly the Joshua generation and bringing about the alignment for the Joshua generation and all of that, I have some experience of. I've done some court cases on a scale that administered judgment, justice, grace, mercy, and rest for the Joshua generation, in the past. And I'm sure other people are doing similar things. So I do feel, we need to cooperate and participate, but it all starts with engaging the heart of God at another level. This is about outworking God's heart, the revelation of his heart, the purposes of his heart, the intentions of his heart that get revealed, that bring you into a change cycle of transformation that eventually brings you back to that place, a different person. So when I engaged an intention of God, and I engaged a precept of God, and I went through that cycle, and that cycle could take a number of years in certain cases, and I ended back at that precept, I was a different person, and my experience of that precept had been completely transformed. So that's, for me, that's how it's happened. That's how I've experienced change in my life, how I've experienced the transitions that take place. Now, I've learned to cooperate with it. I've learned to be more sensitive to the processes, be more aware of when I'm receiving a new mantle or new tools or weapons, when I'm having a new commissioning. All of these things you become more sensitive to, and you go with the flow and you stay in rest, and it becomes a state of being. So it's like living in a state of continual transformation in rest. And that's been my experience of it. But I do believe that we can administrate that for wider scale. I believe we could administrate that for the solar system and its restoration, or for the dimensions and its restoration, or for the fallen beings and their restoration also. There's things we can do in response to what we have received from God to bring about those changes and cycles of change, which shifts things.